Hi, my name is Sara Grady, and I'm the South Shore Regional Coordinator for the Massachusetts Bay's National Estuary Program and Watershed Ecologist at the North and South Rivers Watershed Association. Today we're here at the Monument River, also called the Borndale River or the Herring Pond River count location. And this is one of many locations along the South Shore and throughout Massachusetts where you can count herring. When we talk about river herring, we're actually talking about two different species, the blueback herring and the alewife. They look almost indistinguishable, but what distinguishes them is the habitat they like to lay their eggs in and the time that they show up in our local streams. Alewives will show up first. They show up when the water temperature is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and they like to spawn in ponds, so they're the ones that are going to be trying to make their way up fish ladders with a little bit more drive. Blueback herring show up a little bit later, when the water temperatures get to be about 55, and they like to spawn in our streams. River herring are not to be confused with sea herring, which live out to sea their entire life. What makes river herring is that they migrate into our fresh water to lay their eggs. This is called an anadromous life history. Adult river herring migrate into our streams in April and May and lay their eggs. Those eggs take a couple of weeks to hatch, and then the juvenile herring stay in the fresh water through the summer and into the fall, and then migrate out to sea. They spend about 4 or 5 years maturing out at sea, and then they return to lay their eggs. River herring are valuable to us for many different reasons. One of the main reasons is that they're a big part of the food chain in our estuaries and in our oceans. They're what's called a forage fish. That means a lot of different other animals eat them, like herons and osprey and bluefish and striped bass. They're also important to us because they're a part of our history. Many of our streams along the South Shore are named after herring, and I think we've all learned the story of the Pilgrims coming and learning how to plant their corn with a herring in the hole from the Native Americans. Unfortunately, river herring populations haven't been doing so well because they face a lot of threats. One of the threats that they face is an inability to get to where they're going when they're trying to spawn. They're blocked by things like perched culverts, by dams, and by low flow in our streams. In addition, they're caught at sea as bycatch in other fisheries, which depletes their populations. For that reason, river herring are protected both in the state of Massachusetts and also by the federal government. They're a NOAA species of concern, and in Massachusetts, there's been a moratorium on catching or possessing a river herring since 2005. River herring are regulated in Massachusetts by the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries. Some of the data that's needed to understand how well river herring are doing in our streams comes from volunteers like you. So you are important. The data that you're collecting is not just going into a folder and into a file cabinet. It's being sent to the State Division of Marine Fisheries, and from there it's being used to make large-scale decisions about herring populations, both in Massachusetts as well as all along the Atlantic coast. Thanks for listening, and good luck. Enjoy your spring.